Vehicle supersonic. Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
A couple big calls there. Again, all normal, all nominal, and progressing as expected, flying through the densest part of the atmosphere.
Recovery AOS.
And back engine chill.
It's a call for chilling the second stage engine.
Nico. Impact ignition.
Stage 1, boost back burn is starting.
So very significant calls there. Successful separation of the first stage from the second stage. That second stage there you see on screen with the red hot engine that is now active and taking Dragon towards its correct orbit. And we saw the boost back burn begin and hear that call as well. So the Falcon is headed towards the drone ship there again off the coast of Jacksonville.
Stage 1, boost back burn is shut down.
Right now you're seeing the camera kind of flipping, and essentially you're seeing two camera views, one off, oh, you actually just see the nose cone flew past there. That's a nominal jettison of the nose cone. There, it's a shot from the first stage. There's the hypersonic grid fins expanding to help control, to help steer, essentially, this rocket towards the drone ship.
Trajectory.
Acquisition of signal Bermuda.
So again, on that second stage engine, you're seeing two camera views, one on either side of that engine. It's a great side-by-side. Again, the primary objective today is to get Cargo Dragon to its correct orbit, and the secondary objective is to recover that Falcon booster landing on, of course, I Still Love You, about 185 nautical miles off the coast of Jacksonville. The camera on the left, I believe, is actually inside the top of the first stage, so you're getting kind of a view, a look at the top of that.
Stage 2 continues on nominal trajectory.
Again, we use that term nominal. That essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate range where we should be. So that all that means is that everything is going according to plan. All right, so a lot of work done, a lot more to go. We are still not there yet. We have to kind of progress through the spacecraft deploy, solar array deploy, and check out to make sure everything is in good order. But that is going to do it for us, for myself, from here in Hangar AE at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Mission Director Center. So it's been a pleasure being with you today. Thanks so much. And I'm going to send it over to Andy in SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Andy?
Thanks, Joshua. In order to land our drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean, the first stage needs to execute a series of 3 burns. The first is a boost back burn, which is meant to slow the rocket down and reorient it for re-entry. That just completed a few seconds ago. Next is the entry burn, where Falcon 9 slows itself down before hitting the dense parts of the atmosphere. Without this second burn, relying solely on the atmosphere to slow down Falcon 9 will put unnecessary strain on the rocket. Hopefully we can see some footage of that coming up shortly. The third and final burn is the landing burn, and there's the shot of the entry burn. The third and final burn is the landing burn, which happens just before touchdown. It provides the booster a soft descent to attempt landing, and this is also when the 4 landing legs were deployed. We're probably about a minute away from beginning that landing burn. Let's keep an eye on screen to see if we can see those engines relight. For this final burn, Falcon 9 uses just a single Merlin engine, the center engine, engine number 9. On the left-hand screen, you see a shot of the second stage, continuing its journey into orbit. And on the right-hand side, it's a view from the top of the first stage. Those Griffins are helping to guide the first stage back to a targeted landing.
Stage 1 landing burn has started.
And we did get confirmation that the landing burn did just start. That's a view from our drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. As we get closer, watch for those landing legs to deploy.
Acquisition of signal, New Hampshire. Stage 1 landing legs have deployed.
Looks like we may have lost the link of the footage. We're listening in to see if
Stage 1 has landed. Recovery operators.
And touchdown of Falcon 9 on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. You can certainly hear the excitement here at SpaceX. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team for another successful landing. For those keeping track, this is first stage recovery number 46. Back to our primary mission, the second stage is still continuing its journey into its desired orbit. We should be hearing callouts for second engine cutoff very shortly here. And good second engine cut off. Now we're waiting for callouts of a good orbit. It sounds like we do indeed have a good orbit. Up next is deployment of Dragon from that second stage. When Dragon separates from the second stage, we're going to get a glimpse inside of Dragon's trunk. Dragon carries 2 types of cargo: pressurized cargo inside of the capsule and unpressurized cargo in its trunk. On the outside of Dragon's trunk are 2 protective fairing for Dragon's solar arrays. The arrays produce more than 5 kilowatts of power and help recharge Dragon on its mission. At this point, we are about 10 or 20 seconds away from Dragon separation. So let's listen in for the callouts. And there it is, successful deployment of the Dragon spacecraft. There is a view inside the unpressurized section of Dragon's trunk. With Dragon deployed, the next major milestone will be deployment of the solar arrays as Dragon makes its way to the International Space Station. Now let's pass it off to Dan for coverage of the solar array deploy.
Hey, thank you very much, Andy. Great to see Dragon in orbit. Really cool, as always, to see that first stage touch back down on the drone ship. So as he mentioned, Dragon now flying free. You're actually getting a really cool view inside the trunk of Dragon, where there's 2 external payloads. These are payloads that are already exposed to the vacuum of space. One of those, the larger one, is that HiSui. That's the hyperspectral imager from the Japanese government that's going to be installed. The other one's actually a spare battery. We've been doing a bunch of battery upgrades on the International Space Station, switching from older nickel hydrogen batteries to new lithium ion ones. And we are going to be standing by for a couple of minutes until we see those solar arrays deploy. You'll see them unfurl from the sides of the Dragon trunk. It'll eventually give Dragon a wingspan of about 50 feet, a little more than that. And this is actually one of the last few times you're going to see these solar array deploys on a Dragon spacecraft. As they are deploying, there are some additional moving parts in them as compared to the new Dragon design and the Crew Dragon, where those solar cells are actually wrapped around the trunk itself. That does cut down on a few moving parts, some of the things that the engineers have to check out, all the screws, bolts, and things like that, and also the lock nuts, just making sure everything that's in place will actually be integrated into the trunk itself for those future Dragon missions. And they're going to be switching over to that Dragon type once they start their CRS-2 contract deliveries, which is slated for CRS-21, so just 2 missions from now. But again, still standing by for solar array deploy. We've been hearing some updates from the visiting vehicle officer here in Mission Control. Everything so far has looked great with this Dragon so far. Everything nominal, as Josh was explaining, just meaning normal, by the book, on plan with the trajectory and everything so far. This is actually a view of those solar arrays. We'll start to see those unfurl momentarily.
Dragon is deploying its solar array.
And we did get some audio confirmation that the solar array deploy has begun.
Dragon's propulsion system is successfully primed and all thrusters are ready for firing.
And there we go, now getting a view of one set of the solar panels deploying. Again, one on each side of Dragon's trunk, giving a wingspan of about 54 feet once fully deployed, providing all of the electrical power to Dragon systems as it makes its chase down of the International Space Station. And everything looking smooth. We'll wait for some audio confirmation that the solar arrays have deployed successfully.
Expected loss of signal, New Hampshire.
We are seeing on video both sets of solar arrays deployed. We're again just going to stand by for some and we just now heard it. The solar arrays have been deployed successfully. The propulsion system on Dragon being primed for some initial firings. Again, Dragon's going to be gradually raising its orbit over the next 2 days, 2.5 days, until it arrives at the International Space Station.
Dragon solar arrays have successfully deployed and are ready for activation.
right, so again, Dragon in orbit. Great to see another spacecraft on its way to the International Space Station. As always, back here in Mission Control Houston, I'm now joined by Kenny Todd. He's the Space Station Operations Integration Manager. Kenny, it was a great launch today. How's the team feeling with what they saw so far?
Well, it's always great when we can get a new vehicle on the way to space station. So we're very excited. Looking forward to getting the Dragon on board here in a couple days.
And so what's it going to look like for the crew? Now that Dragon's on its way, what's the schedule kind of looking like for the crew with coming days, coming weeks now for them?
Sure. This really does kind of lay our path forward here through the end of December on into the first week of January now. An incredible amount of science coming up on board, over 5,000 pounds of new hardware coming on board. And so the crew over the next couple of days will be getting ready. They'll finish out their training for being able to do the capture and the grapple and getting the Dragon berthed, and then after that we'll be opening the hatch shortly thereafter. We've got some science that we need to get across the hatch and get up and running. So that's going to be the first couple of days here when we get going.
And right now it's scheduled to get there on Sunday, correct?
Correct. Well, we have a typical time, usually around 5 or so in the morning, about the time we do the capture operation. That's a standard time for a Dragon capture. Usually by mid-morning we'll have it berthed, and depending on how things have gone during the day for the crew, we'll either get the hatch open or we'll wait till the following day and start with a clean, fresh day and get in and get going on the science.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Obviously, this team going to be very involved with the SpaceX flight controllers out in Hawthorne over the next couple of days as Dragon makes its way there. And we're going to continue all this live coverage once Dragon does arrive. So be sure to wake up really early on Sunday morning and join us as we get ready to bring one more vehicle to the International Space Station. With that, though, that'll do it for us here from Houston. Send it back down to KSC, maybe get you some more launch replays. Back over to you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Dan. Joining us now is SpaceX's Andy Tran. Andy, can you tell us a little bit about how launch went today?
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks, Jennifer. We had a beautiful launch off Space Launch Complex 40 today. This was our 20th mission to the space station and our 8th launch with a flight-proven Dragon. I can confirm now that Dragon is in good orbit. The solar arrays have deployed on time, and then the guidance navigation control bay doors should be opening later today. Dragon is on its way to the International Space Station and on track for capture on December 8th at approximately 3 a.m. Pacific time or 11 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time. After berthing, the astronauts aboard the International Space Station will unload about 5,700 pounds of crew supplies and payloads. Dragon will then return to Earth after about a month at the orbiting laboratory. All around, it's been a successful mission so far. I want to take this time to thank our friends at NASA, the Air Force, the Federal Aviation Administration, and all of our customers for their support and hard work to ensure today's launch was a success. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Andy. And that's going to wrap up our coverage. For more information, visit nasa.gov/station or nasa.gov/SpaceX. I'm Jennifer Wolfinger, and from everyone here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, thank you for joining us for the successful launch and landing of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. We leave you now with another look at today's launch. Have a great day, everyone.